Hello and welcome to your Soul Guidance with Adriana. I am a clairaudient channel as well as an intuitive reader, and today I've got a collective message. So this will be a message for all of us really about where we're going, where we're headed. And I'll also be doing an extended reading for you if you'd like to do a deep dive into some of these concepts. And I'm also bringing back, I've been using the Forhexa Tarot deck, but I'm bringing back an old friend, the Druids. So this will be an interesting combination of the two energies. So first I want to start off with the weather. What is the energy around us right now that's most affecting us? And I should say it's not that it's affecting us in a way like we don't have a choice, but it's more like it's the energy that's working with us the most right now. What energy is supporting our growth? Okay. We're looking at the Hanged Man, the Tower, and the Queen of Earth. I've been getting a lot of messages about really needing to be rooted and present and grounded. And that definitely makes sense for these cards. So Queen of Earth is that lovely, settled, grounded, powerful, present energy that's very nurturing and very protective. Kind of think of your Taurus or your Virgo signs. We've got the Tower in the middle, and we've got the Hanged Man. So basically, the changes that we're being asked to make in our lives are being deeply nurtured at this time, but we are feeling deep change. We are feeling a deep shift. You know, in this deck, the Tower is more like the rumblings before the pre-shock than it is the shock itself. But what this message is talking about is we really are headed for a big shift. We're headed for a big change, and we're being asked to surrender on one hand and to realize that the more we surrender and just go with this change that's being asked of us, the more we're going to be deeply supported. I also was getting messages last night about how the earth itself is going to be shifting and changing. Because we've been in such a masculine energy paradigm for a long time, you've heard, I'm sure, before that the feminine energy, the receptive principle, and for tarot or astrology, this is water and earth signs, that energy hasn't really been valued. It hasn't been allowed to totally flourish. And so I got this information that the earth energy and the water energy are going to change, that they're going to become more powerful in the synthesis and the neutralizing of chaotic energy. And what this will do is create an even stronger platform for the air and the fire energy, so air and fire signs, to come through. And I feel like that's what we're seeing here, this strong platform of earth, the Tower, the shaking up of the fire, and then the surrender of the Hanged Man, telling us this is what we're going through. So how is this likely to affect us? Give me 3 instances, please. I'm going to jump to the Druid deck for that question. Okay, 3 instances. Prince of Cups, 10 of Wands, 5 of Wands. Be aware. So these are 3 different reactions that we might have to this particular cosmic weather I just pulled. Be really aware of hearkening back to the past, or nostalgically looking back at the past, yearning for the past. Be aware of that, because your attachment to the past is really about attachment to the comfort that the past has brought you. But in this energy here, you're not going to be allowed to stay in the past. So, you know, nostalgia about certain elements of the past is one thing, but looking back to the past and thinking that it was better back there, or you wish you were back there again, there's going to be like a whiplash, an energetic whiplash that happens, because it's like the car is driving you forward. We're being pushed forward. but you're pulling yourself back at the same time. Okay, so that's one possibility. Another possibility, 10 of Wands, trying to take on too much. And I think because we've also got the 5 of Wands up as a different possibility, that fire energy is going to be activated. So those of you that like to do and to feel better doing, when something's going out of control you want to do, there's a danger in overloading yourself. There's a danger in taking too much on. And there's also a danger of creating chaos and not getting anywhere. So the theme that I'm seeing with these cards here is that there's a resistance to the flow, but there's also a feeling of trying to put things in the way of moving forward, which is the same thing as resistance to flow. It's a different concept I'm seeing in my head. It's the idea or the feeling that we can't go forward, or we're afraid to go forward, so we need to make ourselves even less able to go forward. I'm not putting that very well. What's another way of putting this? What I was feeling before was that it's the false sense of thinking that what this energy is asking us to do is do more. Okay, so it's like change is coming. Okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got a big long list. And what we've been asked to do is surrender to that change first. So what it feels like is that the change itself is going to tell you which way to go. The change itself is you're going to see signals or synchronicities, or everything is going to kind of pop up and flow into place, but only if you surrender first, only if you let yourself go and let yourself be okay with the difference that the tower is going to create. Then it's going to make sense. Then everything will fall into place. But this tower, I want to get a little closer view of the tower so we know exactly what areas of life is this tower going to affect. Okay, looking at Cernunnos, which is like the devil, 9 of Pentacles. So that's comfort, the things we do to comfort ourselves. Princess of Wands, another fire, and then 6 of Swords. So our comforts, that is what is being shaken up, what we are habitually comfortable with. Okay, that's this message here. This message here is, are we looking at healing? We're looking at naivety, or this is interesting. This is an interesting message. It's naivety, but it's also, maybe the way you would do things in the past being questioned or being healed. So sometimes, so for me, what this is looking like personally, sometimes I do things because of the ideal or the idea, and it doesn't end up to be the greatest thing because I didn't think about it all the way through. But it was like this impulse where I loved the idea. I loved the symbolism of it to me, but it wasn't a deep symbolism. It was just a superficial kind of like, oh yeah, this sounds like a good idea. So let me give you an example. I was looking to book a bed and breakfast, and we booked something called The Sun. And the first impulse was to just go off the name, but I actually needed to look through and look at what it was about, how much it was going to cost, all those kinds of things. That's not the best example, but I'll give you a more current example. We're looking to hire a cleaning service, and I wanted to support this one just because it was woman owned and had great reviews, was a local business, but the charge was much more than what another quote was, and the woman-owned business was not doing all the services that I wanted to have done. So I would have been following an ideal, but getting less of what I wanted to pay for, or paying for more, but getting less. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking at healing, is doing things just for the sake of doing them because of an ideal, because of an idea that's not totally connected or grounded into the situation itself. Okay, we want to look a little deeper into more than just, oh, that looks great on the surface, or yeah, I should do that because of this, or I should do that because this looks that. All right, it's like you need to choose what's best for the job or the best fit. You can't just go off of these superficial things. So, okay, kind of got off track there for a second, but what is our final message before we move on to the depth of the extended reading? Okay, we've got the 9 of air, the Chariot, and the 8 of fire. Guys, I have to tell you, things are moving fast and things are going to move faster. This tower rumbling here is a little bit of a wake up and a warning to you, because things are going to move quick. The Chariot, the 8 of fire. Chariot is card number 7, and then we've got a sequence of the 8 of fire coming next. So the more focused you can be on your forward movement, on the direction that brings you the most growth and that brings you that sure sense of, I know this is the right direction. There's going to be part of you that wants to hold you back, either with doubts or with worries or with negative, it's doubts, but it's negative thoughts about the direction you're going. Okay, so it may not be like a flat out doubt feeling, but it's going to be negative conclusions about the direction you're going. And the point is that if you're really focused on the direction that your heart and soul are wanting you to go, then this path is going to open very quickly for you. Okay, this is really about, as much as you can, staying out of your head, staying connected to your presence, and trusting when you see the sign, when you see the opening, go for it. Okay, now I'm going to continue to draw cards. I want to go a little deeper into these cards here, the Chariot and the fire, 8 of fire, exactly what's moving forward, how can we expect that to look, and anything else that comes up, that's what we'll look into. So that's where we're going to start. If you'd like to follow me over there, link is in the description below, and I'll see you again soon.